afternoon all. I've been busy today making a new handle for our Flint felling axe, and this one's been with me for 5 years now, I think, and in that time we felled 7 trees with it. We use them on the courses with Will Lord, and we allow students to have a go with it and fell a tree, which is quite a unique experience, and anyone who's ever done it will always remember it. It's quite a satisfying experience to take a stick and a stone and bring down a tree. Always gets a lot of negative comment on social media. People, well, one, they get very upset that we're cutting a tree down, and it's all done as part of the management of the woodland, really. We always select a tree that's already damaged or on its way out. This one had ash dieback, you can already see it began to go in the middle, and before the tree died and became dead wood, we felled it while it was still usable, decent timber. We use every part of it, and this handle was felled by this stone last year. We broke the last handle, or a overzealous South African student did anyway. He went a little bit mighty with it and managed to crack the handle, so I just made it a new one. Changed the design slightly. Been looking at one that was found preserved in a bog in Scotland. It's got more wood at the top to prevent that split from happening. So I've rearranged it, and we'll try this handle this season and see how it goes. But yeah, the stone has survived. That's the main thing. I'd rather break a handle than a stone any day of the week. That's why I don't pack the inside of the socket. You see light down the side of the stone. It's only held at the top and the bottom. It's that pressure that holds it in. There's no need for glue or bindings or any of that. It's better if the stone has got room to move in the socket, in my experience. That way you don't break the stone. If anything breaks, it's a piece of wood, which is far easier to replace. See, I don't glue them in, I don't bind them, just a tight fit. And with use, it's always pushing backwards anyway, so it can only get tighter in the socket. When they do creep back, there's only 1/4 of an inch there at the moment. By the time it's done its first tree, there'll be more than an inch showing there, and it'll gradually creep along the stone until it needs replacing or reseating. And yeah, something I enjoy very much. Get a lot of satisfaction from handing it to people and letting them have that experience. I try not to be precious about it. Obviously there's many hours of work involved in this, but I think the benefits of letting someone else experience that outweigh any risks for my labour. If it breaks, it'll go back to the river where I found it, and I'll chuck it back in, and that'll be the end of that story. And I think that's the way it always was, really. You see a lot of these axes in fields and rivers that are broken. I think that was, once they were done, they were returned and start again. Got this beast lying on a desk, which Will gave me last year. Be the next one I'll grind and polish. Hopefully get that on a handle and get some use out of that one as well. It's a beautiful stone, good size. Some of them were really quite small, and they still obviously worked with, so size didn't seem to matter then any more than it does now. But when I'm felling a tree, I prefer to have a larger axe. I just find this does the job quicker, you know. So I always think the Bronze Age was a bit of a step backwards, really. We went from using a 5 or 6 pound felling axe to a 3 or 4 ounce bronze axe, and I can never see that for example, can't see that that's much of a match for something like that. If I'm felling a tree, I know which one I'm going to use. But as beautiful as it is, I'd always pick up one of these first. So yeah, that's today's job done. The original was about the same size as this, but it had a much straighter handle. I put a more modern cast on this one, and I just prefer it. And I think it's easier in novices' hands as well if you pass them a straight handled axe. I think some of them find that a little unfamiliar. So I put a more modern tail on a very prehistoric looking head. So yeah, come out early this morning up into the forest here, and the idea is to seat that stone back into the handle so it sits nice and tight. It's a fresh handle and the stone needs bedding in, which is brute force, whacking it against a tree basically, and that'll shove him home into the socket, and hopefully that'll hold fast. So I've been looking for a downed tree, which is this one. So I'm not damaging any of the standing wood. This is one that's blown over, and I think with a few taps we can get that seated and start its journey as a working tool. So as you can see, about 30 seconds work, and we've definitely made a dent in it. And we have pushed the stone in considerably. We've got a little splinter tail here, but that's no problem, that's a good thing. It means it's going home. And yeah, she's tight, so job done. I had a lot of people this week ask me if I think it was a weapon. Well, it would certainly suffice as one, but I don't believe that was its purpose at all. These were a working tool, pretty much a farmer's tool. They were used for cleaning, clearing the land to grow crops and pen up sheep and cattle, I suppose. And yeah, we know they were effective. We still find the trees out in the fens which have been chopped with these tools, and you can see the tool marks on the wood which is preserved in the peat, and you can see that they do cut. And having used this one myself, we've felled what, 7 trees now. It's proved itself as a working tool. So yeah, while it would suffice as a weapon, I don't think that was its purpose. And I mean, there's been examples where it has been used, certainly to slaughter livestock. There was a skull of an auroch bull which was found at Burwell Fen out in Cambridgeshire, and these things were massive, much bigger than the domestic cattle today. And it's got the blade of one of these axes snapped off right in its forehead. So somebody had clocked this bull hard enough to not only kill it, but to snap the stone off and leave it in the bone. So yeah, you can certainly hit with some force, but like I say, it's a tree cutting tool more than a weapon, I'm pretty sure of that.